Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel! Today we are looking at the new Colourpop No Filter Foundation. In addition to their loose and pressed powders, I also managed to pick up another concealer that I have purchased before when these concealers first launched. I replenished that. We'll also take a look at their Give It To Me Straight eyeshadow palette, which is not new, but I picked this up at Ulta and I just have to buy it because I'm crazy. I would like to get this video up as soon as possible because the No Filter Foundation is still new and trendy, and I just wanted to help you guys maybe decide if you want to purchase it, take a look at the shades that I bought, and take it from there. Without further ado, if you want to see the new Colourpop No Filter Foundation and other things, then please keep on watching. Alright. Let's get into this review and demo. I already tinkered with it last night. I couldn't help myself. Saw that I received it in the mail upon returning home, and I just had to dig in, try it, see, you know, what the dealio was. Apparently there's a restock that I'm not sure if it was a restock for all the shades or some shades. I really don't know. I picked up two because I saw from their comparison chart, which is very helpful. They outline popular brands with their current shades, so you could kind of figure out based on what you've already used and what shade will be great from the Colourpop No Filter range. I thought that was very helpful. I'm NC42 in MAC, I believe. They suggested to get medium dark 135, but then I also got medium dark 145 just in case. Happy that I did because I discovered that although the 135 is my undertone, my ideal undertone, is still a little too light, and the 145 tackles that issue. I also picked up the No Filter pressed powder in medium dark and dark, the No Filter setting powder in transparent and banana, the No Filter concealer in, what is this, medium dark 32, and the Fair 00 for pops of color on the lid. And yeah man, let's get to it. Finally, I know I'm talking so much. Hello. Here is the packaging, and this comes in at a net worth of 0.25 milliliters or 0.85 fluid ounces, and this retails for a whopping $12. Here is the shade 135, and it doesn't come with the cap, but it does come with a turn lock mechanism. It's hard to see on camera. Maybe I could try to show it. There's a graph here that indicates when it's closed and open, and it will be easier to decipher that, of course, without figuring out and pumping it and stuff comes out and you're like, oh, that was open. Here's the shade 145 in a medium dark, and here are both shades together. I love the packaging. It is a glass bottle with a plastic pump, and up close you see that stars all over the bottle with the Colourpop logo. Even though it's glass, it still feels fairly light. It's a nice neutral weighing foundation bottle. Now, usually the problems I encounter, even with brands that launch 40 shades, which is amazing, is that because I do have two undertones, I have a little bit of neutral, a little bit of yellow, that one shade might have my perfect undertone, but then the shade up, even though it is the right depth, is not going to have the right undertone. That's why I find myself, even with 40 shades, to still purchase two, because if I go up a shade from here with the neutral undertone, then it'll just be too dark. And I'm cool with that. Like, this is what I have to deal with, and I'd rather just buy two shades and just have one that's gonna look like funny on me. I did apply this last night with a brush, but I think I want to do one side brush and one side sponge. Hold on. I like to pump in 145 first. Oh, that's locked, excuse me. The 145. And the consistency is actually very watery. A touch of the 135. And that's how both look together. Our full coverage natural matte foundation delivers flawless looking skin from day to night. The oil-free, lightweight formula blends smoothly and is easily customizable to create the coverage you want. Build it up or sheer it out. It was developed with innovative soft blurring pigments to deliver true color while looking and feeling natural. The lockable pump is easy to use and keeps your routine mess-free. Always 100% cruelty-free and vegan. Mix that up. I'm curious to see what this looks in front of natural light, because in my bathroom light, which is pretty true to color, showed up okay. Okay, that's one side. Let's punch that in. Here's the coverage with 135 and 145 combined. I still see my blemishes peeking through, and probably what I'll do, I'll go directly in with the sponge and do a second layer just over that section. I think the color combination is great. It gives me just a little bit of warmth, but not too much. I don't look too yellow. I still feel that I'm within the neutral realm, but not super neutral that I look cool and ashy. And although it's a watery texture, I think it provides really nice coverage on the first application. And again, if you want that fuller coverage, then I will recommend that you let it dry and then go in with a brush that will leave more of a more opaque coverage. I'm just doing another dose. I've seen that people just use one pump for their whole face, but I think just because I'm cutting this in half, I might just have to do 2 doses, sorry. This side, I will blend out with my wing GOSS. Pop it on there first. So again, this is foundation side, and this is half foundation side. Wing GOSS number 1. Going in with that blend. Now, depending if you're dry, normal, oily, that will help determine by which means you think will be best in terms of application tools, will leave you with the best finish. I like brush because I think it leaves fuller coverage, but on days that you don't want full coverage and you want more light to moderate, then I understand how a sponge will work out best for that purpose. Just taking it down the neck because Mama needs to get tan. For now, we're gonna fake it. Dabbing in the leftover and running that over my blemishes. Okay, this is our brush side. This is our sponge side. I love both. I love finishes of both. I do feel that I'm getting more coverage here when applying with my brush. And this, of course, is an exceptional brush, but I'm sure like the popular one is the Morphe one, another favorite brush, Luxie, Sigma. Like there are plenty of kabuki brushes that I think will leave a really nice finish when using this foundation. I just feel with a sponge, I see more texture on this side because I'm going through a little bit of a breakout on this side more so than this side, and maybe that's why, because I applied it with the sponge, I don't like the finish as much. It still looks smooth. For evening's sake, I'm gonna go in on the portions that I feel need a little more evening out. Now this foundation says it is matte. I think it just needs a little bit of time to dry down because still I'm looking a touch dewy, which is cool because I use my skincare as my prep and I haven't been using a lot of primers as of late. And I like when my foundation applies to freshly hydrated skin because I just think it combines better, it smooths out better, and melts better. Because we want that butter effect. What I like to do as well is just take my finger on areas that I feel need a little more smoothing out because the warmth from your fingers I feel helps blend out the product better more so than with any tool. No matter how expensive it is, you still got those fingers. Alright friends, here is the final application. I did a few layers as you saw, and I really love how it looks in real life and on camera. In real life, it looks a little warm, but when I apply the concealer, it evens it out in terms of the brightening effect that it provides, and I think it meshes well with the foundation shades. Here is their, look at these fingerprints. Their no filter concealer coming in at 0.5 grams or 0.176 ounces for $6. This is in the shade medium dark 32, which used to be golden 40 or golden 60. And when I first tried this shade when the concealers first launched, I thought this was the best shade for my under eyes. So I'm gonna put that right there. And I found that I like the results better when using this concealer when I blend it in with a brush. When I blend this out with the sponge, I found that there's like this patch of skin that the concealer didn't latch onto. It was really strange. Like throughout the day, right under my inner corner area, there was no concealer there. And I was like, where was concealer there this morning? But I feel when I blend out with the brush, I get a better finish. It could be hallucinating, but you know, that's what I experienced. And I've been using less and less concealer because I feel that we're finally moving away from that very trendy Instagram application technique of just like slapping on 1,000 pounds of concealer under your eyeballs. And although it looks very impressive on camera and on Instagram photos, not so much in real life. And typically you just use a little bit to conceal the darkness under your eyes or to even out any discoloration. All that concealer, man, it's especially if you have dry under eye areas, I don't think it was very helpful at all to apply that much. But again, when you see these super glamorous photos and you want to recreate those looks and you see how they got there with all the concealer under their eyes, then people are just more inclined to follow that trend. Whereas I found that in lifestyle photos and magazine shoots that I've done, that when the concealer is very light and just the right amount, I feel it gives a more natural look to the skin. And if there are any patches that I feel need smoothing out, then I'll go in with my sponge. Wow, looking good. I forgot to mention that the foundation is under an ounce, which is not as typical. You see different foundations on the market coming in at least 1 ounce, but even at 1 ounce when it's like $30 and this is just 12, because even when you double the amount of this, that's just $24, which is still very much under the standard price for mid-range or luxury foundation prices. I still think this more or less inexpensive compared to the Dior's and Laura Mercier's of the world. Again, with their concealer, this is under an ounce of product, but for $6, not a bad deal. I'm gonna make moves and actually show you the setting powder first so we can set these under eyes. 8.5 grams of product, or 0.300 ounces, for $9. I tried both the translucent and the banana powder, and I found that although the banana powder, beautiful, yellow toned as banana powder should look, it brings down my concealer shade to my skin color, and it doesn't actually enhance the brightening effect that the concealer originally delivered. I'll show you both sides just for the demo, but here's the banana powder. Here is the shade. Also, what I've been doing, instead of punching in powder with my beauty sponge, I've been taking just a very fluffy powder brush. This is my Luxie 520. This is the banana powder and what it looks like. I'm gonna dip that in. Oh my god. This is pretty finely milled, so it kind of dusts everywhere, which is fine. But I'm just gonna punch that in so you can see what the yellow powder does. Very smoothing. I mean, my skin feels like silk. And it also has a really nice blurring effect. And regarding the ounces, way under an ounce. But if you double the ounces, $18, still very much not as expensive as Miss Laura Mercier, which goes for a whopping $38. And if you get the hourglass, a whopping 40 something. So here's the side with the banana powder, and maybe I'll just apply the translucent so you can see. I feel the banana powder brings down the brightness just a little bit. When I use the translucent, it maintains that highlighted effect. The translucent, dab that in. Look at that dust, whoa. I like that during the time I was getting this powder ready that my under eye didn't crease. Here's the translucent side and here's the banana side. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but in person, this side looks a touch brighter than this side. This side just looks like my under eye skin area matches the rest of my face. Whereas this side, I feel there's more of a contrast of brightness here in my under eye area versus the rest of my face. I might end up giving the banana powder to my friend Elijah because she is a deeper skin tone than me, and I think it'll actually brighten her under eye area versus me, where it's just kind of like keeping even with the rest of my face. To even out just a tiny bit, I'm taking the translucent and dabbing that here on this side, just so we could even out a little bit. And I'm taking in the rest of the face, or the areas that also had the concealer, to continue that brightening trend. Because I want to use the sheer pressed powder now. Coming in at 5.5 grams or 0.19 ounces for $9. I thought medium dark would be the appropriate shade for me, and I'm going to take the same, which gray has a mirror, yay, the same luxury powder brush and set the rest of my face. Typically, I prefer applying a loose powder to set the rest of my face. I don't know what it is. I think the loose formula just melts better into the skin. This is really meant to blot excess shine throughout the day. But I did buy the dark shade because I wanted to see how that looked as like a contour bronzing situation. I'm still going to use my translucent powder because although I applied some of the pressed powder on my face, I feel there's just little sections of stickiness that need some more attention. And although translucent and it had a little color on it, I don't think it changed the shade of the foundation at all. I think we're still good with the shade. Here is dark, and I'm going to apply this with my Morphe R7. I tried this last night and I really loved how it looked. It gave me the right amount of shade, but it wasn't overwhelming. I think that's a really nice soft application of color that's going to provide that bit of depth, that warmth. And if I wanted to apply another bronzer, I think I could, and it's not going to look overwhelmingly warm. Like, it's a little too much sun, Alicia. What do you guys think? I really loved how that blended. Here's a close-up of my skin. This is not with a setting spray, and I know it will look smoother with it, but even now I feel with all the powders that we've applied, with the foundation and the concealer, that my skin looks pretty good. Here's a super close-up, especially here where I just applied the dark sheer powder. I think it still looks fairly smooth. I would like to do a wear test, and of course at that time I'll be in front of my Diva light because the sun will be down. And we want to check out how the foundation held up. I'm going to bring my medium dark powder with me just to touch up throughout the day and be consistent with the product usage. But yeah, man, and today is hot. Not as humid as it was yesterday. Yesterday was disgusting. Today the temperature is hot, the humidity reasonable, and I'll be very curious to see how this foundation holds up. Alright friends, I'm going to quickly do my brows off camera and I'll be right back. I'm going to tell you right now, I love Give It To Me Straight, and I feel this video is going to be long enough as it is. I'm going to take you through this demo and just show you the eye look we create. Wayne Goss number 3 with Truth Hurts. Wayne number 4 with BS. Per usual, Colourpop shadows, we got a lot of kickback happening in the pan, but I am reporting 0 fallout on my face. I also really love this color and this color. This is like a nice light, very, very light pinky shade, and I will post a photo here of what I did yesterday, which I thought was a really nice soft summer smoky eye. But today we're doing smoky. Now my Morphe M514, which I will put the name up here. Thank you so much for suggesting that I buy this. Actually, just low, low, low. Take it inside as well. Not a whole lot, but you know, just enough to pull it together. With my Luxie 231 going back in with, where is she? BS and a little bit of Truth Hurts. Actually, outer corner, connecting the top and the bottom, so this looks a little neater. I don't know if that got neater, but I'll fix it, I'll fix it. Taking the original Wayne number 3, but with matter of fact to clean up this mess. I'm brushing it off on my towel because we don't want to increase the color, we just want to smooth this out. Not having a very good blending day, but in person this looks fine. Finishing off, I'm going in with my finger with Be Blunt. I haven't used this shade yet on my lid, and I thought, you know, why not today? I think that looks very pretty. Just to smooth the transition between the shimmer and matte shade, I'm taking TMI with my No Name Dome Brush. Just punching that between Actually and, what does that say? Be Blunt. Now the Wayne Goss pencil brush in number 5, and I think I'm gonna go up front. That goes to the inner corner. Very nice. Punching straight up, where is it? Right to the center of my lower lash line. I'm gonna slap on some mascara and I'll be right back. The look is complete. I managed to apply some highlighter blush, some lipstick. As a topper, I use Colourpop's Ultra Glossy Lip in Snow Day. And here you have it, friends. This is the full-on application of their newest no filter complexion products. At the end of the day, I'll come back on here just to see how the foundation and concealer held up, how the powders held up, and all that good stuff. I'm very excited as of now in terms of how it looks at this very moment. It looks smooth, skin still looks like skin, really nice finish. It doesn't feel heavy. I feel a little bit of because of all the skincare that I applied prior. Maybe that's what's giving me that sensation, but as far as the actual formula, as you saw, it was quite watery but still had really nice coverage. Doesn't feel heavy. I didn't give it enough time to dry completely. I immediately went in with powder. I believe it is formulated to set as matte. Depending on your skin type, maybe that will be more satin versus matte or the other way around. But again, as far as how it looks now, really loving it so far. I'll be sure to check back in and get back to see how this holds up for, you know, let me see. Apply this like 10-ish, home around 8-ish. Oh, that's plenty of time. I'll be back here in front of my Diva Light and we'll see how this foundation holds up. Oh my god, we still got some sun, guys. Let me take my glasses off. I am terrible. The sun is hitting my face. I'm terribly sorry for not showing my phone earlier when I applied the foundation. I know that is something that people do in wear tests to indicate that they're not lying. And I promise you I'm not lying, I promise you. Here's my phone and the time now, wait, hold on. I can't even do this right. It is now 7:49. I applied this foundation like 10:15-ish a.m. This is what we're looking at. Nothing is on my nose, and that's typical. But the rest of my face, I feel, looks pretty good. My under eyes, I feel, look smooth and airbrushed. I like the skin, how it looks with the powder, bronzer, and blush, as well as the highlighter. My blemishes started to peek through a little bit more, and I see them more now than I did when I first applied the foundation earlier in the day. I like how my forehead looks. It is a little grease, but you know, that's typical, especially now. Today was very hot. It wasn't as humid, but still hot, and when it is that high in temperature, the oils tend to come out to play. I actually forgot to take the pressed powder with me, so I actually didn't touch up at all. I didn't even use my Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Finish powder that I usually take with me on the go to touch up with. This though, I ain't mad at it, friends. You can see how the foundation started to wear, like there's some here between the brow and top of my nose, but then as you get towards the bottom into the nostrils, I mean, there is nothing left. You just see that gradient of foundation to no foundation. It's cool because, again, as long as the majority of my face still looks intact in terms of smoothness, airbrushedness, yeah man, I'm all for it. I love that it's only $12, and I understand, although that is considered inexpensive, it could still be expensive to some, but for the formula and what you get in terms of it being matte and medium to full coverage, very easy to use, and a wide shade range to select from, I think $12 is not a bad deal. I love the loose powders actually. I love the translucent loose powder. I love how it made my under eyes look smooth and bright. I might be donating my banana powder to my friend Elijah, who's deeper in skin tone than me, and I think will look fabulous on her. And I also love the pressed powders. Just, of course, I have to, you know, try them again because I forgot to bring it with me today. You know what, why not? Let me just see how this will look if I just took a little bit. I'm gonna tap, tap, tap on my nose. It's not going to provide coverage, but at least it's gonna knock down some of the shine. I'm gonna put that some on my forehead. Oh, that works. That looks nice and airbrushed. Took down some of the shine. Okay. See in action that the pressed powder is exactly what's doing what it's designed to do. Why am I looking so red? Oh, because it's sunset time. That if I ever need a little bit of blotting, just a little bit of shine reducing, I could use the pressed powder. It's not going to add a lot of texture to the skin, just a little color, but still look smooth. I love the No Filter foundation. I am happy that I purchased it. I love the concealer, the loose powder, as well as the sheer pressed powder. I am a huge fan of Colourpop. I feel the products that they have recently been releasing are just phenomenal. Anything they release, I will keep my eye on and see how it works out. And of course, looking forward to whatever products they release on the next one. Thank you friends so much for watching. I hope this video helped, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And until then, I'll see you on here again with another get ready with me wear test. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.